The year is roughly 619 CE, known as the Year of Sorrow. It marks a time of profound despair within this ancient, dense city. Prophet Muhammad faced an intense period of isolation. Within a few months, he lost his wife Khadija, who had been his primary emotional support, and his uncle Abu Talib, who provided his physical protection. Without that protection, the ruling Quraysh elite clamped down. They subjected the Prophet and his followers to brutal public mockery, physical assaults, and a crippling economic and social boycott that aimed to starve the movement out of existence. At this exact moment of peak hopelessness, the tradition states that the Prophet experienced the Al-Isra Wal-Mi'raj, or the night journey. You might expect a cosmic event of this magnitude to offer a message of spiritual escapism. However, the night journey delivered a grounded, earthly blueprint for human dignity. In this tradition, when human oppression closes every door on earth, the doors of the heavens open to provide a new moral framework. The event happens in two stages. Stage 1 is Al-Isra, a physical leap from Mecca to the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. At this location, the Prophet led all previous prophets in prayer. This act symbolized a clear theological continuity, positioning his message as the final chapter in a long sequence of divine revelation. Then comes Al-Miraj. This is a vertical ascension beyond the known physical universe, moving up through a structure of 7 heavens. Throughout this ascent, he encountered past prophets like Adam, Yusuf, Musa, and Ibrahim. Each meeting reinforced specific lessons in patience, character, and resilience. The climax occurs at the absolute highest boundary of creation. Here, the Prophet received a direct mandate for Salah, the daily prayers. The original decree called for 50 prayers, but through negotiation, it was reduced to 5. That reduction reflects a divine balance, prioritizing consistent connection over an impossible human burden. The narrative then pivots back to earth. The Prophet returns to Mecca, bringing with him the revelation of Surah Al-Isra, the 17th chapter of the Quran. Despite the grand scale of the Ascension, the laws contained within this surah are domestic and hyper-focused on social order. The text dismantled collective tribal guilt, introducing absolute individual accountability. Every person's fate is tied to their own neck. Inside the home, it mandated kindness to aging parents, forbidding even a single sigh of annoyance. The manifesto then targets the rot within society. It bans the practice of female infanticide and commands economic justice, requiring the protection of wealth belonging to orphans and the poor. It even addresses the physical posture of the Meccan elite. A spiritual prohibition forbids arrogance, commanding believers not to walk exultantly upon the earth to show their dominance. This expedition to the edges of the universe resulted in a manifesto focused on ritual connection to the divine and the protection of earthly human rights. The Quraysh elite had constantly demanded materialistic miracles to prove his prophethood. They wanted him to produce houses made of solid gold or cause springs to magically gush from the desert. Instead, they were handed a text that outlawed financial exploitation and erased collective tribal guilt. By granting universal honor to every individual, this framework dismantled Makkah's fatalistic, class-based power structure. This journey established an unwavering moral framework as the definitive sign of divine guidance, far removed from the physical spectacles the Quraysh demanded. Today, the legacy of that cosmic event lives on through the 5 daily prayers, which scholars refer to as the daily miraj for Muslims. Salah functions as a structured tool to step away from the chaos of daily life, allowing the individual to recenter their mind. Believers connect with the cosmos not to escape earthly lives, but to gather the spiritual fortitude required to walk humbly and justly upon the earth.